BJ Bennett, Robbie Ross here with you on SouthernPigskin.com on a Tuesday morning as we get ready for breakfast. Robbie, we've been up for a couple of hours here, but literally, how can you go to sleep after what we just saw? And that was Clemson 35, Alabama 31 in the national championship rematch. And I don't think we're caught up in the moment here. I think we just witnessed the greatest championship bout of all time with Deshaun Watson doing what he did against Alabama's defense with Watson's score, then Jalen Hurts' response, then Clemson's second score at the end of the fourth quarter. Congratulations to both Clemson and Alabama. Just a remarkable national title bout. And, of course, Clemson, Dabo Swinney, Deshaun Watson bringing that national championship home to the upstate. Again, we're getting ready for breakfast here on a Tuesday morning, but initial thoughts. I mean, I'm kind of lost in the history of all this. What a football game.
It really was. The back and forth, as you said, especially in the last 5 minutes of the game, the last 4 minutes and 38 seconds when Clemson scored to finally go ahead on that Wayne Gallman run. And then Alabama's offense, who kind of went away for 2 quarters, the middle 2.5 quarters of the game after a very successful first quarter. Then all of a sudden they pull out the trick play. And then the 3rd and 16, going for it on 4th and 1, and then Jalen Hurts just magically dazzles his way for a touchdown. And you say, okay, well then Alabama takes the lead, but then they gave Deshaun Watson 2 minutes or so to go down the field, and then you were like, okay, are they going to kick the field goal?
Right.
We're going to overtime? What are we doing? And then, boom, 1 second left. That guy again from Myrtle Beach, the walk-on, scores the touchdown.
A former walk-on, like his head coach,
That's
who was
right.
a former walk-on
Yeah.
at the team Clemson just
beat.
beat. Yeah, just defeated in Alabama there. But what a football game, and I think you have to start with Deshaun Watson's legacy because, as you said, to do it not once but twice against that Alabama defense late in the game on that stage. I mean, this is the ultimate measure in college football. You're playing a defense that, entering this game, people were saying, look, if they stand out, perform well against Clemson, they could go down as the greatest defense of all time. Deshaun Watson led 2 late fourth quarter comebacks, finished with, I have the numbers here, 420 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns if you count his rushing score, no turnovers, and to do it twice at the end, I don't know that we've seen much like that on a stage like that.
Yeah, well, he had the one fumble early on in the first half, but that was, 6 hours ago. So
yeah, hey, that was last year at this point.
That's right. But that didn't really effectively hurt. He didn't have the big interception that led to Alabama scoring a non-offensive touchdown, which was key. In the 2 games versus Alabama in the national championship the last 2 years, Deshaun, 66 of 103, 825 yards, 7 touchdowns, and that 1 interception last year. And then 41 carries, 116 yards, and the touchdown tonight. Just put his team on his shoulders and said, come on, guys, let's go do it. Let's go be great, as he said in the post-game interview.
And it's early on here, but I think you can bask in the greatness of what we just saw. To me, greatest championship game ever. And I think Watson's performance fits that bill. And I think you now look at Deshaun Watson as one of the greatest quarterbacks in college football history. He's going to forego the senior season and should. Look, he just won a national championship. This guy is a top prospect. I don't know what anyone could see negatively with this guy at the next level. But for Deshaun Watson, you look at the way he finished, the overall production, and you followed him in high school at Gainesville. You got the Red Elephants cap on there. What makes this guy special? I know his makeup is very impressive.
Well, from just the Pee Wee League on, I mean, he stepped in as a 14-year-old freshman and took over the football team, and leading to a state championship in his junior year in 2012, and then being successful in 2013, and already kind of, knowing he's going to join the Clemson program in January of his would have been senior year, and he just has it in him.
The it factor.
The it factor. I mean, you knew when he stepped on the field that he was successful, and he had what it takes to get it done. And he showed that time after time, not just tonight, but throughout his college career, all of last year as well.
Dabo Swinney now has to be considered one of the great coaches in college football. Currently now has the ring to go along with all the wins and elevating the status quo there at that Clemson program. How about maintaining the composure and confidence of this team? They were down 14-0 early to the defending national champs. Nick Saban doesn't lose on that stage. Nick Saban certainly doesn't lose when he has a lead late in a ball game. Clemson undeterred.
Yeah, and that kind of takes on the mentality and the personality of Dabo. He's loose, he's relaxed, he's fun, he's happy-go-lucky, and when you get down 14-0 to Alabama, you have to be happy-go-lucky. Another stat that may be the most amazing stat that jumps out of the sheet here, Nick Saban-led football teams going into tonight's game were 97-0 when leading by 10 or more points in the fourth quarter. 97-0. They are now 97-1.
That's right. The symmetry in this game, the storyline is just remarkable. Of course, on a day where Danny Ford gets selected for the College Football Hall of Fame, Danny Ford won Clemson's last national championship, went to school at Alabama. Dabo Swinney, who went to school at Alabama, walked on, we'll get to that in a moment, won a national championship with the Crimson Tide, wins a national championship against the Crimson Tide, I believe, joining Bud Wilkinson of Oklahoma as the only player coach to win a national championship. And you look at what he's done, it had to be neat for him as a former walk-on wide receiver to see Hunter Renfrow, a former walk-on wide receiver, do it again against Alabama. 2 touchdowns last year, 2 touchdowns this year, and the young man from Myrtle Beach. How about a game-winning touchdown catch with 1 second left?
Not bad, not bad. 10 catches, 92 yards, and 2 touchdowns this year to go along with his 2 touchdown catches last year, and he just seems to have that knack to be forgotten by the Alabama defense somehow. I don't know how you forget him after what he did last year, but he seemed to be forgotten and was just open all night long tonight. 10 catches, 92 yards, as I said, to 2 touchdowns, of course, the game winner, but the one that he caught earlier in the game where he caught it and zigzagged through about 15 yards downfield and got into the end zone there was big as well.
Robbie, what will you remember about tonight's game, or yesterday's game, I guess we should say now?
I was saying all throughout the game that the first possession of the game, when Clemson went for it on 4th and 1, although I think we talked about this before, it was the right decision, not necessarily the right call, and kind of turned the tide, and no pun intended, got the tide going in Alabama's way to jump up 7-0. I was afraid throughout that whole game until the very end that was going to come back and haunt Dabo, was being a little too maybe amped up, a little too aggressive, but it evened out. And I think what will carry on with me is Deshaun Watson being calm, cool, and collected, and quite literally getting beat up a lot of the time. I mean, he got hit and he got battered, but he just hung in there, kind of like Rocky Balboa in the Rocky II fight, where he just kept taking hits and just found ways to bounce up off the mat and get it done in the end. And he said, it was like a movie, and it was. It was like a movie. I mean, you knew that was the ending that Deshaun was going to have.
And Deshaun with the touchdown pass, the game winner with 1 second left, one of the great games ever. One of the great college football games ever for Deshaun Watson, and he and Hunter Renfrow and Jordan Leggett with some big catches. Mike Williams just mossing cats out there. It was unbelievable. For me, I think Dabo Swinney going to be the lasting legacy of winning the national championship against his alma mater, where he won a national championship. I mean, everything coming full circle for him. Yeah. Just an incredibly poignant moment for Dabo Swinney. And again, congratulations to Clemson. Robbie, I'm emotionally and physically exhausted. I mean, this game took a lot out of me, and that's just watching it, without having kind of a rooting interest, just enjoying the game. But it's been a great college football season. Let's get some rest.
Absolutely.